Hello and welcome to the AfroCentric Woman. I'm going to be talking about my understanding of what is a yellow flag, and any other random things that come to my mind. And if I have time to answer questions, I'll do that too. Now, I'm making this video based off of a question that one of my subscribers had that was really like, it was too much for I just don't want to write pretty much. And I think other people might have the same question, so that's why I'm going to just answer it here. So, oh crap, that's where's her question? I want to read her question because other people might have the same one. Oh, you know what? It was on an older video. It wasn't on a new video. Let me see if I can find my things. But it's basically a question about like interracial dating. Let me see. Okay. So she says, I'm a new subscriber. I was curious as to why you say if they ask if I date interracially, is that's a red. Um, I will link that in the description box so that you can kind of know. And so basically in that video, I was saying that if a man asks you, do you date white guys or do you date interracially or I'm only interested in interracial. I said that that was a red flag. And I'll tell you why. But before I tell you why, I'm going to downgrade it from red flag. I'm going to downgrade it to yellow flag because I think yellow flag is more descriptive of what the situation is. Because you need to be cautious if someone is asking you, are you into white guys? Or, do you date do you date interracially? If they're leading with that, it's a yellow flag. It's a yellow flag to look closer to see what's a guan because it's kind of weird, and I'll tell you why. Now, I I have gone on lots and lots of dates in the past, okay? Um, I've gone on a lot of dates and every single guy that I talk to, obviously I can't go out with him. So I have had hundreds, maybe thousands of conversations with men at this point in time. Right? So conversations that don't necessarily lead to a date, that don't necessarily lead to dating, that don't necessarily lead to anything, but just like lots and lots and lots. When I tell you hundreds of initial conversations. So that's what I'm basing this experience on. So, and there's two things because age is a thing and race is a thing. So if a guy is coming to me and and the first thing he says is, are you into white guys? 9 times out of 10, the conversation devolves into sleaziness and it just devolves into trashiness. Just like things that I'm not interested in because I only date a certain caliber of man and I only entertain a man that like treats me really, really well. And so I that's been my personal experience that if they ask that from the very beginning, it never goes anywhere because they don't have the decorum to properly court me. They don't have the decorum to properly actually ever get to a date with me. So I decided that I would avoid men who ask that question just because it, for me, it's a time waster. It's not an innocent question, it's a weird question, and they're making things weird. With most dating apps, you have to choose each other. It's not like men can just message you on most of these apps. It's not like that. Usually, you have to swipe on them and they swipe on you, or you send them a message, they send you a message back, or whatever the case may be. Usually it's a mutual choosing. So if I chose you and you chose me, obviously I'm interested in you. I don't like, it doesn't need to be qualified further. I can see that you're white. You don't like have to announce it. I can see. I'm not blind. I can see that you are white. And even if I were blind, and I had some type of app on my phone that could read your profile that clearly says white Caucasian, right? So even if I were blind, I would still know that you're white. So if you can see me, I'm black. I can see you, you are white. Obviously, and I swiped on you and you swiped on me, we're obviously interested in each other. So what is understood doesn't need to be explained. So I found that through hundreds of conversations with men, that the ones who make a big deal about race are the weird ones. They're the low tier, bottom shelf, um, throwaway, castaway guys that you really don't want to waste your time with. Um, Nowhere on my channel have I ever advocated for any specific race of man. The only thing that I've advocated on my channel is for you to date up as far as you can go. And I have advocated for you to experience luxury, for you to experience, the finer things in life, for you to have some indulgences, for you to have some decadencies, for you to be able to be treated like a princess, for someone to really provide and protect for you. That's what I've advocated. So therefore, I've never pushed any one race over the other. And I really don't have any plans on doing that in the future because I don't want anyone to get sidetracked or have a blind spot as to what it is that we're creating over here when they think that any such an insert person will do, any white man will do, any Hispanic will do, any da 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 da, any Asian will do. No, that's never ever been the mission of this channel. So if someone is coming off the bat and then they're making a big deal about it, that becomes weird. I have found through hundreds of conversations with men, the best conversations, even if they don't lead to anything, the best conversations are the men who think that you are a beautiful woman. Hold on a second. Okay, I have found that the best conversations, even if like they don't lead to anything, like let's say he lives across the country and it would be nice if we could see each other, but it's just not feasible or whatever the case is, or whatever. Um, I found that the conversations that are the best, the men who are the most respectful, the men who are the most chivalrous, the ones who are willing to book reservations, to make accommodations for you, to actually properly date you and pursue you, those are the ones who see you as a beautiful woman, period. Like, period. I've even like, and this is kind of random side note. I've even had guys refer to me as dark complected, tanned, um, deep complexion. Like, obviously I'm black, but for them, they see this like spectrum of beauty, right? And so there are like really beautiful dark women, there are beautiful women in the middle, there's beautiful light women. They don't really like fixate on race like that. You know what I'm saying? And honestly, I found them to be the best candidates, the best types of conversations that you want to entertain. Now, we're going to have a new influx. We're going to have a new influx of Black women who are opening up their options. and this is a good thing. And it's also okay, we need to make sure that we are not carrying over struggle love tendencies into these new relationships. What I found a lot of times Black women do, and I used to do this too before I knew better, was that we start negotiating down very quickly. Like like before we even before we even enter into anything, we're already negotiating things away. We're already giving things away. We're already kind of like meeting him down and giving him the benefit of the doubt, and we're making a lot of exceptions, and oh well, I'll let that slide, or I'll let that pass, or like, oh, I don't want to make a big deal about that. Like it's it's a struggle love tendency that is runs deep, and it's not so obvious if you're not aware that you're doing it. So when I tell you it's a yellow flag, if a guy comes up to you or they're trying to approach you on a dating app or something, and they're initiating a conversation about race where it's not necessary, it's not relevant to getting to know you. They haven't even introduced themselves properly. They haven't even um you know what I'm saying? Like they haven't even started a conversation to even have a rapport with you before they're bringing that up. I said it was a red flag. I'll downgrade it to a yellow flag. It is a yellow flag because that person is, they're making something out of something that doesn't have to be an issue. You know what I'm saying? And I think that there's a part of them that can possibly feel like there's some type of dynamic in the relationship. And again, it's a situation that it doesn't have to be. I've dated out a lot, and honestly, it hasn't, for the best guys that I've dated, it absolutely has not been an issue. And for the ones who've brought it up, it became weird really fast. And then there've been other things that they have done that have disqualified them from ever getting on a date with me. You know, rather it be a dusty date offer, rather it be being sleazy, you know, and saying something overtly sexual about my body, which is just like unwarranted. You know, it's just like gross, weird. Um, they'll never make it to a date with me. Like I would just never even. I will just end the conversation. So I know every demographic is different, but this is something to take into to account. You know, it's something to kind of think about. I've had hundreds of conversations, and I can tell you the ones that go south. The other one is the age thing. So if a guy makes a big deal like, "Oh, you date guys older, you date older men? Are you into older men? Are you attracted to older men?" The thing about those types of guys are usually broke, and they want to establish that you're genuinely attracted to them physically because they know they don't have any money. They know that they don't have anything to offer. So those kind of guys are going to be like, "Oh, you're attracted to older men?" An older man who has money isn't going to ask you that because he don't give a shit, because he already knows that what he has to offer you is attractive enough. And he knows he's old. He knows that. He knows he's old. He knows you're young and you're hot, and he knows that um he is established and he's worked hard, or he inherited the money, whatever. It doesn't matter how he got the money. Well, it does matter legally. He got the money legally, and now he wants to enjoy his life. Now he wants to go, you know, pick up a lovely lady and take her on a nice date and splurge on her and do whatever else, because he is at that point in his life where he is able to do that because he has amassed wealth, and now he can do whatever he wants. Maybe he's divorced or whatever, and after alimony and splitting up assets, he's still okay, and so now he has money to spend. And so those kind of men who have money, they don't ask questions like that because they have confidence in what they have. They have confidence in where they are in life. I have found through hundreds of conversations, the men who ask those sleazy kind of questions, those lowbrow questions, or those questions to try to make themselves look desirable. One of them is sometimes they have no intention of taking you out on a date ever. They just want validation from a beautiful woman. So they'll be having, hundreds of conversations with different women. They may even be in a relationship and just like, you know, having this like online fantasy getaway, out making sure I still got it, making sure I still look fine. So they'll ask questions like, "Oh, what attracted you to me?" That's a yellow flag. A man should be giving you compliments, not fishing for compliments. A man should be telling you how beautiful you are, not encouraging you and eliciting you to tell him how handsome he is. He should earn his compliments. And a good man, I'm telling you I've had a bunch of amazing dates. I've had a couple trash dates too, a couple, but mostly good ones. And conversations have been all over the map. But I can tell you the ones who end up being the best dates are the ones who compliment you first. A good man gives first before he expects anything in return. And he will give and give until he gets something back eventually. It's like an investment. It's not a transactional slot machine or, put something in a vending machine and I get something out immediately. That's not what it is. It's I'm going to keep on giving and investing into this woman until something pays off. Rather, I get a compliment, she might compliment me, she might hold my hand, she might sit a little closer to me, she might feel more comfortable with me, whatever. She might come out with me and I get, and we might turn heads, whatever it is. But he's going to give until he gets something and he doesn't know when he's going to get anything and he's going to be patient enough to wait until he gets anything. So when they're asking for compliments right off the bat, that's a yellow flag. I just unmatch. I'm ruthless. I'm ruthless. I'm out. If you fish for compliments with me, I'm out. I'm out. If you're trying to make a big deal about age, I'm out. I've gone out with older guys and they don't make a big deal about it because they're well established. They're not trying to shoot above what they feel like they can afford. Same thing with the race situation. If someone is making a big deal about race and they're bringing it up preemptively without asking, those are low caliber males. Those are the low caliber males that you want to avoid. You don't want to go from one pile of dust to another pile of dust. You see what I'm saying? So that is why I said it was a red flag, and that's why now I'm saying it's a yellow flag. To be cautious, to be aware. Because sometimes I might swipe on somebody and I don't really read good what's going on. And then I'm like, okay, now, and then they say, oh, you into white guys? And then I go back and I look at the profile because I didn't look at it good the first time. And then I start looking at it and I start seeing dust, 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 dust. And I just unmatch because I didn't see it before. But once they ask that question, it raises a yellow flag. And then I go back to investigate further. Sure enough, they're a dust ball. And I don't deal with dust in any flavor, any language or creed or nationality. I don't deal with any level of dust. I've been talking about standards for over a year now on this channel. And now there's a big group of women who are finally interested in the standards conversation. So I have a video that I had scheduled several months ago called Creating Standards and Requirements from Scratch. I will go live on that particular topic because there are a cadre of women who are now interested in that conversation. So that's great. We can have the conversation because I think it's one thing to kind of understand the pathology, but then there's nuts and bolts, and there's actually a methodology to actually getting what you want. And again, backing it up, a lot of Black women don't even know what they want. They don't even know. You want companionship and relationship, but at what cost? Like, or like, in what flavor? And to make sure that what you want is not contradictory. Because you might want to feel a certain way. And if you want to feel a certain way, you got to get a certain kind of man. Any man will not do. You have to get a certain kind of man. And then how do you do that? And then how do you weed out the ones who will waste your time? Those are the nuts and bolts that Black women have to learn. Like, okay, we get the pathology. We understand that they're trash. We get that. We understand that we need to open up our options. Okay, we get that. We understand we need standards, but which standards? And how do I make them? And then what do I need to be looking out for? How do I know? And how do I feel confident in myself with getting what it is that I want? Those are the next steps. So I'm gonna keep on I'm gonna keep on doing what I've been doing on the channel, because now more women are interested in that particular thing. Oh, that's a good one, divested Power Ranger. What do you do for work? That's a red flag. I mean, it's not a red flag, it's a yellow flag. If a male is overly interested in your um if a male is overly interested in your occupation, it's a yellow flag. Also, if he says he wants an independent, strong, um, humble woman, run. You know what I'm saying? Like, a man should not be trying to humble you. A man should be trying to pedal us. I don't know the word. A man should be trying to elevate you to a pedestal. He should be trying to put you on a pedestal, put you in a glass box, put you in a protected hub. Okay? He should be trying to build a fortress for you with a moat and all. He should be trying to produce a safe place for you to thrive, and not be requiring or eliciting or soliciting humbleness from you. Like, he should not want you to be meek and humble. He should want you to be proud and upright, and he should be proud of you, and you should be proud of yourself. So if he wants you to be humble, independent, strong, those are repulsive terms that we reject. And then I've talked about this in other videos too, where they kind of tell you certain things about themselves, but they're really not talking about themselves, they're talking about you. So when they're like, I'm self-sufficient, I'm independent, I'm humble, and I like the simple things in life, what he's saying is, I want an independent, strong, humble woman who enjoys the simple things in life. If he's saying, I like to go hiking, binge on Netflix, and with a box of pizza and a beer, what he's saying is, I want someone to sit on my couch and watch Netflix and eat pizza with me, and then sleep with me without any investment. That's what he's saying. So yeah, they do that a lot. If they say, like, I'm not looking for a one night stand, they're looking for a one night stand. If they say, I'm not looking for a hookup, they are actually looking for a hookup. I noticed that a lot of the apps are banning them for saying things like that. So they're saying the opposite of what they really want. I even saw one time, the other day, someone put, like, I'm not into fetish or BDSM or something like that. Wink, wink. I definitely don't want that. But that's actually what they wanted. But in order to get around the dating app algorithm and the dating app censorship, they'll say what they want and say that they don't want it in an effort to attract what it is that they want. I hope that's not too confusing. Um, hey, everybody that's in the chat. Oh, when you couldn't hear anything, I might have been looking up the question. Um, darn it. Well, I will post the question because I think when I was looking for the question, I think that when I logged off the screen, I think that it stopped the sound. So my apologies. What I'll do is I'll copy and paste or somehow figure out how to get that question into so you can see what I was answering. Um, One of the subscribers asked me, she said, "Well, why would you say that if a man asks if you date interracially that it's a red flag? Uh, you know, are they just asking to make sure that it's safe to shoot their shot because a lot of black women are not into them?" And what I'm saying is that if you swipe on them and they swipe on you, then it should be blatantly obvious that you're interested in them. And they don't have to make a big deal about race. And what I'm saying is that guys who make a big deal about it are a yellow flag. The most generous men that I've dated have not made any big deal about it at all. And the farmer guy that came in town called me dark complected, which I thought was hilarious. I really did. I thought that was hilarious. So, I have another guy that I'm talking to now who's about to come up. Um, he's about to come up from a different city, and he already looked into making me reservations at this place I've been trying to get into forever. I told him that it was always booked up. He was like, "Okay," and then he was like, "Oh my god, it really is booked up." So we might be going somewhere else because that place is like literally booked at like a month in advance. But yeah, he's been really sweet and you know, accommodating and trying. He said, "Whatever makes you happy, whatever you want to do, where you want to go, I'll take you wherever." He has not said anything to me about race. And I'm telling you, the best guys don't. They see you as a beautiful woman, period. Period. You're beautiful, period. I also, for me, I found that I don't really like liberal non-black guys. I tend to gear towards conservative and moderate guys. Independents, moderates, and conservative guys. And if you would have asked me this like 5 years ago, I would have never even imagined. But I mean, I've always kind of been a little conservative, honestly, when it comes to a lot. And I've lost friends and I've lost acquaintances off of some of my beliefs, especially when it comes to gender roles and women and certain language that I don't want to use. Like I was, I carried a child for over 40 weeks and I pushed that child out without any pain medications. You are not going to strip me of my title as mother. I will not acquiesce to be called a pregnant person. You will not call me a pregnant person. I am a mother. Okay, I'm a pregnant mother. I breastfed. I did not chest feed my child. I breastfed my child. And you're not going to change how I. So, in that sense, a lot of things that I've refused to adopt. And again, I am in the wellness industry, which is adjacent to the healthcare industry, and there's all kinds of things that are trying to push certain, stuff. Like even when a child is born, not even putting, oh, it's a girl, it's a boy, it's like it's gender X, and then the child decides. There's all kinds of things that I have resisted over the years as things have changed, which have been very, I guess, somewhat conservative. I don't know. I'd say maybe traditional over conservative, but there's always been elements of me that have been would be perceived as conservative, and but I wouldn't have imagined. But it's interesting, like once you kind of get out of the dogma and you really start to just kind of listen, you know, there's a lot more things that you can agree on than disagree on, and especially when you start having your own agenda as a black woman and you do not put the other, BM's agenda over your own, then you can really start having some conversations across the aisle. Okay, then you can really start seeing where there might be allyship where you never thought that there was, where there might be room for camaraderie and fellowship where you never would have thought before because you have your own agenda and you're not putting someone else's agenda over your own. So anyway, that's a tangent that I don't even know where it came from. But oh yeah, I know. I was just saying that I tend to do better with more conservative men and moderate men. I don't like liberal white men repulse me. They really get on my nerve. Like I have no interest. Those men tend to be more cheap too. And they want you to go 50-50 in Dutch and stuff. Like, ain't nobody got time for that. The conservative guys are the ones who are more traditional and want to take care of you. Hold on. Okay. So yeah, conservative guys are the ones who typically want to take care of you more. And they don't they like traditional roles. They like more of um the traditional roles or whatever. And maybe I'll do like a separate video, but I think like one of the obviously I'm not in the divestment community, but when I was looking at some of the stuff over there, the two biggest things that I could say that really benefited me from it is one, my relationship or even my perceived relationship with police. I have a lot less anxiety when, I have like no anxiety when interfacing with the police or um, driving by the police or dealing with the police in any way, or like, I just don't feel any anxiety about that at all. And I think that's something that I really got from the divestment community is, the idea of rethinking about police presence and how we interface with them and what we expect of them and how they'll, like when we don't have someone else's agenda over our own, we're able to establish how we feel about it separate from them. I think that's a very male identified, a black male identified relationship, that adversarial relationship with the police. That's not ours. That's their own beef. That's not our beef. So I think really like examining that within myself and thinking, what can I do as an individual person to create a better relationship with the police? I might need them one day, I might need them. Um, that helped me a lot. Although I've never been like, I'm not one of those ratchet type of people that likes to like make a big deal about the police or whatever. I remember several years because I'm one of those people who like follows the law, so I don't really I don't really have a lot of run-ins. I usually don't even speed, y'all, and I also use my turn signals, so I really don't have any reason to get pulled over. But one day I did get pulled over because I was speeding. I was going to a conference. Um, I was going to a conference in my state, and I did get pulled over. And I just don't think that going on social media and going live and confronting the police and being all loud and irate and adversarial, I just don't think it's wise. I've never thought that was wise. Like I just don't like you're trying to go viral, but you might get killed. Like you're trying to go, you're gonna get killed, you're gonna get off trying to make a viral moment, confronting the police, like, I just never saw a point in that. I just wanna do whatever I need to do, hand over my insurance and whatever else, you know, do my thing, and then I just wanna go on about my way. I'm not trying to prove a point, and that was years ago when I was, like, pre-child, still in the Black empowerment, blah, blah, blah. Still in the Black power, blah, blah, blah. But even in that, I just still didn't see a point in being all confrontational with the police. Like, Girl, for what? Just do your thing, and I didn't get a ticket either. He gave me a warning. He was like, "You need to slow down, ma'am." And I said, "Thank you," and I went on about my way. He could have given me a ticket. I think I was going like 10 or 15 miles over the limit, maybe like 10 miles over the limit. So he could have given me a ticket, but he didn't. He gave me a warning and I went on about my way. And that was that. So now I feel way less anxiety when dealing with the police. And that's just that. I don't feel that that trauma, that like trauma isn't the word, but just like somebody else's feelings, somebody else's problems. Like, honestly, I'm just a law abiding citizen. I pay my taxes. Maybe I pay them late, but I do pay them. And I don't really speed or do anything crazy. I don't have anything illegal in my car. I'm not a criminal. I don't have a problem with the police. I really don't. And for people who do not follow the law, who do have illegal things in their car, who don't follow law, who don't do what they need to do, maybe they have anxiety about the police, but that's not my battle. That's not my problem. I don't have any problems with the police because I don't have anything going on crazy in my life. I just want to live in peace. I want to raise my child. I want to live my life, and that's it. And they have a job to do. It's a very dangerous job, you know. Oftentimes they're understaffed and overworked and everything else. And now with this whole defund the police, and even with the COVID mandates, a lot of police officers are retiring early because they don't want to get vaccinated. So some people are retiring early or switching over to federal jobs or switching over out of the police force. So they're really strapped. All first responders are strapped, including firefighters, EMS drivers, emergency room staff. All first responders are really strapped right now. So, having compassion and understanding and empathy for what they're going through, it really helps to create a dialogue and help you see them as people that's trying to do their job. They're trying to do their job the best that they can with the limited resources that they have. And this adversarial attitude that we have been handed by Black men who are largely the criminals of the community. That isn't to say that uh, some of the policies have not been very detrimental towards the Black community. But I think that the response is it should have been clean up the community yourself, not hate the police, right? The response should have been, well, why don't y'all clean up the police since there's so many good Black men out here and it's only a handful of bad ones, right? So since the majority are good, then y'all get the 10% that's bad. Why don't y'all get them in order so that the police don't have to police you? And this is the thing that I tell my child, and especially other children, especially boys. If you don't manage yourself, someone will manage you. If you do not manage yourself, someone else will manage you. If you cannot control your impulses and control yourself, you're going to end up in a cell. Someone's going to tell you when to wake up, when to go to sleep, when to use the bathroom, when to eat, how long you can stay outside, which books you can read, how long you can be on the phone, who you can call. Your calls will be recorded. If you do not manage yourself, someone else will manage you. Period. But anyway, yeah, total side note, but that's the thing. Like if though that energy and the way they felt about it got input into us, and then we were told how we feel about it. And then I was like, no, let me really examine this. I really don't have any beef. I don't have any problems. Actually, I'm fine in that area. That isn't anything that I need to worry about. I might have some things going on, but that's not one of them. And then also learning how to deal with narcissists, because a lot of narcissistic personality types are attracted to law enforcement. So you need to learn how to deal with people's ego. That will help you deal with law enforcement. Most of these people are on a power trip. They like to feel in control. And ultimately, do you want to have a power struggle with a narcissistic personality type that has a lawful right to be able to end your life? Or would you rather be more strategic and stroke their ego and get what you want out of the situation? As women, we have different tools that men do not have access to. Okay, when you're a man, you're going to either have to submit or confront, period. Like, you don't have as many options. But when you're a woman, you have way more options. You can seduce, you can allure, you can stroke ego, you can do all kinds of things to get out of situations. Okay, you can do all kinds of things. But as women, we cannot be confrontational with a law enforcement or someone who has way more power that's stronger than us. We cannot use physical strength. We do not have the physical strength to confront them. And Black men try to masculinize us and put us on the front line and make us want to confront police. That's crazy. It's insane. No. Like, you're not going to sit up here and give me my role. No. You're mad because I'm a woman and I have different tools up my sleeve that you don't have. And you either can be you can either be a feminine situation, or you can confront. But you're not going to, hide behind Black women and push us to the front line and make us, deal with your battles that you don't want to deal with. No, you need to deal with yourself. Okay? Or I guess do whatever you want. Whatever you do, it's fine. But I just think for myself, I've charted a different territory for myself, and I feel better about where I am today than, say, 4 years ago. Are there any mods in here? Because I want to know if you have the ability to get the bots out. Um, let's see what y'all are talking about. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Thank you, Sissy Asia. This is so true. Like, I've never been in a confrontation with the police ever in my life. I've only gotten one speeding ticket in my life, and I think I was like 16 or 17. And I remember to the day I was going 55 and a 40, and I got pulled over and I cried. I cried. I mean, it wasn't like a bawling. I was just crying because I was just so sad. I was getting a speeding ticket. And I mean, I don't think I was scared of the police officer. You know, I was just so sad that I got a ticket. But yeah, I've only gotten one ticket in my whole life. Paid my little ticket and moved on. So yeah, I don't think yeah, most law abiding women, we really don't have any beef with the police. It's usually our association with criminals, or um getting involved, being too close or adjacent to criminals. And then that's why I don't date drug dealers, and I never have. Yeah, the money is nice and all, but I just don't ever want to be around a situation that could become violent for me. Like, who knows if you have beef with someone and they want to take retaliate against you, and then I'm just there minding my business, and then I end up getting negatively affected by your criminal behavior. That's why I've always avoided drug dealers my whole life, for that reason, because bullets don't have a name, and I just don't want to be associated with someone who is doing nefarious things, and then someone try to get at them, and then I end up getting negatively affected behind them. There was one guy I dated like maybe 2 years ago. Um, Yeah, it was probably 2020. I don't yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna say 2020. But I looked him up and I saw he had like uh a white collar crime of like over $500,000. I don't know the details of it. I would have had to go down to the courthouse to actually figure out what was going on. Cause like you can only see but so much online. But if you go to the courthouse and just, if you guys are interested, if you ladies are interested, if you ever want to know the details about somebody's like criminal stuff, you have to actually go to the courthouse. Unless you pay for like a legal service to get the forms for you. But, like, even in a divorce, like, if you're dating a guy who got divorced and you wanna know why they got divorced and you don't wanna believe him, you can go to the courthouse and you can look up the actual divorce. You can actually see who said what, like, who filed and why. You can I've done it before, you know? So, anyway, this guy had some case was like $500,000 or more. I guess they have like tiers of embezzlement or something, but I just cut him off cold turkey. My thing is this: if you stole $500,000 from somebody, I don't want to be around you because what if they come try to get their money back? You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, he gave me money, he was cool and all, but if you stole $500,000 from somebody, I don't want to be around you. Because if they come looking for you and I'm around, or if I'm driving your car and I just don't want to be around you. So I just cut his ass off cold turkey. And I didn't give any reason why. I don't for some type of people, it's better that you not seek closure, especially when they're criminals, because criminals tend to offend in a variety of areas, and you'll see that. Maybe I watch too much crime TV or whatever, but I do see patterns. It's not like if they cross boundaries and they violate things in certain ways and they violate in a lot of ways, especially if they don't feel any remorse, if they don't feel bad for what they're doing. So I didn't give him any reason why. I just blocked him and just left once I looked up his criminal background, cuz you just never know. Okay, thank you, sissy. Hey booze. Hey girl. Um hey everybody that's tuning in. I've only feel black male officers in my experience. Girl, my mom dated one. I don't know how old I was. I might have already went off to college, but I know that he was like on drugs. And so my mom dated him for a while and then she ended up stopped dating him. But I know that he was on drugs and he was on the force. So yeah, I don't know, girl. I just size up each one of them and I kind of decide like how I'm going to manage it. But I think that women need to just tap into the variety of ways that they have to maneuver a situation and not try to be male identified and be confrontational, especially not physically confrontational or overtly verbally confrontational, because that's not where our power lie as women. Our power lies in other areas, and that can definitely get us out of areas. It can get us out of situations. Because that's when me listening into the divestment conversations is when, I heard about people saying, well, I'll go to the police um meetings, find out what they're going on, introduce yourself, find out which patrolman is in your community or around your job or around your house, and making sure that they know that you support them. I mean, I thought that was really genius and it really helped expand my mind and really think and just examine what is mine and what is theirs. What's in my best interest and what's in their best interest. Because we do not have common interests at this point. They've drawn their line in the sand. We don't have the same agenda. So, me as a woman, as a mother, as a head of a household, that, I need physical protection, you know? So who's gonna be who's gonna be more likely to protect me? A random black man or a police officer? It's gonna be a police officer. So who should I invest energy into creating a relationship with? Well, the police officers and first responders in general. So we get to create our own reality. We get to create how we move around, and we get to determine what is our own agenda and what it is that we're doing as women, period. And how do we disassociate ourselves from negative behavior and from negative interactions and from assumptions? And it's like it's been going on so long that it's not going to be an overnight thing. It's probably going to take a while to disassociate ourselves and to help them understand, hey, we are our own group over here. We're not with the shits. We're not doing all of that over there. So whatever it takes, if we have to go to police meetings, we can go to police meetings, let them know that we're getting involved with municipal councils or with state legislature that says that we support funding for the police or whatever the case may be. Or just morale boosting, just to say thank you. Thank you for doing your job. Yeah, absolutely. They do need to see that we are not willful enemy. Yeah, we're not. And we are supportive because they're just trying to do their job. And we're not going to we don't have to make the job any more harder than it has to be. Because I don't know, when someone already passes away and they're gone, I don't think it's like, oh, if you would have did this, you would have still been alive. If you would have did that, like I don't want to go there. But I was thinking about a particular black woman who was very male identified and very loud and confrontational, and getting into a situation where you're on a dirt road and you're in a, isolated area with a police officer who probably is narcissistic with a big ego, and they're trying to get to control of the situation. They're trying to make you do certain things. You know, is it really worth it to confront them about anything, especially if it's something minor like, oh, turn your radio down? I ain't turning my radio down. It's like, okay, well, now their ego is bruised, and then now it's a power struggle. And like, who has the more power? And you know what I mean? Like, it's just not worth it. It's just not worth it. I think that's a bigger conversation about people trying to get these viral moments on social media. And I'm like, don't you understand that if a police officer wants to off you, even if the camera is rolling, they're going to do it? The camera phone is not some type of armor of protection. They sat up there and off the one guy that I didn't cry two tears over him. I didn't cry two tears over him. But they all, it was minutes of the camera rolling, and he just sat up there and offed him. So the camera rolling is not any protection. So, you know, it's not wise to try to look for these viral moments, confronting and making the police job more difficult than it has to be, um, to try to go viral. Everybody wants their moment, and it's just not worth it. Like, if you're trying to go viral, you don't have a future. You're not thinking about the long term. You're thinking about the short term. You want 15 minutes of fame when you need to be thinking about your life. You need to be thinking about your children or future children, and your responsibilities in the world. Who's depending on you for what? And not think about going viral, confronting the police. Yeah, people are under stress. One thing people have to understand about first responders and even medical staff, they have long shifts. So if you work a 9 to 5, you might not understand their struggle. Most 9 to 5 people work 8 to 9 hours with an hour-long break. Most first responders and medical staff work 12 plus hours. Okay? They work 12 plus hours. And sometimes they have long on-call schedules where they might be on call for 48 hours. So keep that in mind, when you're dealing with them and you're dealing with the stress levels and stuff like that. Like there's so many times, like even with my own family, sometimes they irritate me, when different people have had to go to the hospital and they think that they're gonna like make the nurses do stuff or confront the nurses about certain things, or I don't like, and it's just like you're coming into this with the wrong attitude. You're coming into this with the wrong attitude. These people are working hard. They have a long shift. You don't know how many patients they're dealing with. Anything that you would like to know or that you would like to suggest, you can just say it. It's not your job to come in here and start making people do stuff. I found like the baby boomer women in my family have a really hard time with that. Coming into the situation already ready for the shits, already ready to fight, already thinking the worst. And it's like, why every time you go, you always have a bad outcome. But with me, and I've talked about, I love my medical team. I love my doctor. I love my OB-GYN. I love my dentist, and actually I just found a dermatologist that I want to use, but I probably won't go until probably like late spring, early summer, unless something changes economically. I'm not going to deal with the dermatology thing until later. But yeah, I've already found a dermatologist that I want to use. I'm like, why do you hate every doctor? Why do you have problems everywhere you go? You're never satisfied. Every time you go somewhere, you didn't like this, da 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 da. And I'm like, what is it about you? It can't be all these doctors. What is it? What's going on with you that you're always dissatisfied? No one is ever good enough. You're just insatiable. Like nobody can help you, then are you just unhelpable? Oh, this specialist and they don't know what they're talking about and dang, gang, 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 gang. And that's why, like, at some point, y'all know I just have to tune it out. Like, you want to be miserable? I'm going to give you the space to be miserable. I'm going to move out of the way and give you the space because it is not my job to listen to these endless complaints and you're not willing to do anything to help yourself and you're dissatisfied with everybody. Nobody's ever good enough. Every single time you come to see a family member in the hospital, you have a problem with all the staff. No one's doing their job according to you, even though you don't even know what their job description is. So, yeah, that adversarial relationship with first responders and medical staff, it's not helpful for us as Black women. We have to chart how we're going to work with the community and kind of help, like, get us the services that we need, whatever the service is, whether it's more patrol on our block, rather it is, responding closer to like the street that we live on, or having that relationship with the police officer that's patrolling the block. Maybe when they're patrolling they slow down a little bit for your house and look a little more than they normally would, maybe. Or your business, if they know that's your business, that's your storefront, maybe they do a little extra patrol around your business to make sure that it's safe, no one's breaking in or whatever the case may be. Opening up that dialogue and creating those relationships, it really does do a lot. And I've noticed even when you're dealing in the hospital and you're dealing with nurses, if you bring your diffuser, you've got, it smells good in there. It's a break from them. You're calm. you have your questions or the things that you want to ask, or you da 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 da, or you just say thank you. Thank you for doing that. Thank you for helping me. Like these medical staff are working very hard, and it's a stressful job. A simple thank you and being appreciative can go a long way. And if you have something that you're not satisfied with, you can communicate that in a productive way and not in an adversarial confrontational way, like, oh, you're not doing your job. Why is my such and such? He haven't had his bed changed in 3 days. Well, instead of saying that, you could say, pardon me, Karen, can you help me? Can you show me where the sheets are? I noticed that, maybe the sheets were soiled. Can I where are the sheets? I can get them. And 9 times out of 10, she's gonna do it, and you can help her. You know what I'm saying? But it's like, I know with my family personally, they are very rude and confrontational when it comes to family members. And the crazy thing is, like, you think you're going to get more, but you're going to get less because the nurse is gonna wanna avoid going in there, and especially when they see you. They're gonna wanna avoid going in there because you're unpleasant. You can get a lot more cooperation from people through showing gratitude and thinking the best of a situation instead of thinking the worst, but thinking the best. Being willing to get in there and be a part of the care, because it's like it's not just a nurse's job, it's not just a doctor's job, it's not just a tech's job. It's the patient's own job to help themselves. It's the family's job to support the care plan. So be a part of the solution and not be a heckler, throwing rocks and tomatoes into the situation, thinking that's going to make it better because it doesn't. But anyway, y'all, I knew that I had my first little point that I wanted to talk about regarding the yellow flag with the whole interracial this or that. Um, and then I knew that I would probably go off into some different tangents, and that's exactly what happened. So thank you for tuning in. And then, like I said, I had already created um, a thumbnail several months ago about creating standards and requirements from scratch. That's in terms of dating, and I think that's in terms of relationships, period. I will go live about that very soon because there's an influx of an influx of new women who are interested in that particular topic about creating standards. So we will be able to dive deeper into that. So thank you so much for tuning in. Please be so kind as to like and subscribe and share. Alrighty, y'all. I appreciate you and thank you for tuning in. Peace.